17 people died across 4 building and construction collapses in South Africa. And after investigators looked at what happened, one of the cases was described as a disaster waiting to happen. But for me, the bigger question is this: how does dangerous work get that far before somebody stops it? Because this is not only a construction industry problem. If you are a facility manager or property manager, landlord or building owner, you are aware that contractors are working inside your buildings all the time. Walls come down, mezzanines go up, slabs are loaded, services are altered. Tenant fit-outs happen under pressure most of the time. And a signed appointment letter or a contractor safety file does not by itself make the work safe. South Africa's Council for the Built Environment investigated 4 separate collapses. Together, those incidents killed 17 people and injured 24. The circumstances were different, the technical causes were different, but when the findings are looked at together, the same uncomfortable theme appears again and again. Approvals, competent professional involvement, risk information, supervision, inspection and controls have to exist in the real world, not only in a file. The first collapse happened at Redcliffe. 5 people died and 11 were injured. The investigation could not identify one single technical cause because the important information either did not exist or could not be obtained. But the findings said the necessary building approvals had not been obtained. Think about what that means operationally. The normal regulatory process, the visibility, checking and inspection that should accompany approved building work had effectively been bypassed. This is where I think people responsible for properties need to be very careful. I have seen projects where everyone assumes somebody else has checked the approval. The contractor assumes the consultant has it. The consultant assumes the owner has it. The facility manager is told the project is urgent and the work starts. I would not accept that. Before significant building work starts on a property I am responsible for, I want to know what is being changed, who designed it, what approval is required, who signed it off, and who is actually checking the work on site. The second collapse occurred near Doornkop and gives us a different lesson. 3 people died and 3 were injured after a part of a 2-story building collapsed. The investigation found that the property was on a high-risk dolomite land and concluded that the most probable cause was a shallow sinkhole or dough line beneath the building, resulting in loss of foundation support. The important FM lesson is not that every facility manager must become a geotechnical engineer. It is known that risk information has to remain visible and actively managed. A risk identified years ago is not a risk that has disappeared. Then there is the third collapse at the Magnolia Development in Sea Point. About 40 square meters of temporary formwork became unstable and failed. 4 workers were injured. According to the findings, the immediate cause was premature loading of an incomplete and uninspected temporary work structure. That is a very practical warning. A control can exist in the method statement and still fail at the exact moment it matters. And this is something I see as one of the biggest traps in contractor management. We become satisfied because the paperwork exists. There is a safety file. There is a method statement. There is an engineer appointed. There is a program. There are inspection forms. Fine. But what is happening at 10 o'clock this morning on the actual work phase? Has the temporary work been inspected? Has somebody changed the sequence? Has material been loaded where it should not be? Has the contractor moved ahead because the program is slipping? Compliance on paperwork is not the same as control on site. The fourth collapse in Ormonde is perhaps the starkest example. 9 workers died and 6 were injured while concrete topping was being placed on suspended floors. The investigation findings reported that the beams and columns supporting the affected slabs effectively had no capacity to carry the additional live load being applied during that operation. The regulatory findings were also serious. No application for building approval had been submitted before the collapse. The case was described as a disaster waiting to happen. So what should a facility manager take from 4 very different collapses? For me, there are 5 checks. Check number 1, verify authority before work starts. Do not accept the contractor is handling it as the end of the conversation. Know whether municipal approval, engineering design, landlord approval, health and safety appointments, or specialist sign-off is required, and verify that it exists. Check number 2. Verify competence, not just company names. Who is the responsible professional? Are they appropriately registered for the work? What exactly are they appointed to do? And who is responsible for inspections while the work is underway? Check number 3, make known risks visible. Dolomite, structural limitations, fire compartmentation, asbestos, underground services, or any other existing defects. Whatever the risk is, it cannot live in an old report that nobody on the current project has read. Check number 4, inspect the work at the point of risk. If a critical activity depends on temporary works, propping or isolation, loading or an engineer's release, there should be a clear hold point. Work does not continue because everybody is in a hurry. Check number 5. Give somebody the authority to stop the job. This sounds obvious, yes, but it matters. If the facility manager, safety officer, or engineer, or the project manager see something that does not make sense, can they actually stop the work immediately? Or does production program and commercial pressure win? Here is the test I would use on any significant project happening in an occupied or operational building. Ask 5 questions before you walk away. Is it approved? Who is professionally responsible? What are the known risks? What must be inspected before the next change? What must be inspected before the next stage? And who can stop the job? Any one of those answers is vague. I would treat that as a warning. The real lesson from these collapse investigations is not that every project is unsafe. It is that systems fail when responsibility becomes assumed instead of verified. A building does not care how impressive the safety file looks. The structure only responds to what is actually built, loaded, supported, and inspected. That is where facility management has a role. Ask the uncomfortable question before the incident forces everybody else to ask it afterwards. If you manage buildings, projects, or contractors, subscribe to Ward FM. We take real incidents and turn them into practical facility management lessons you can use. And as always, thanks for watching.